Hello everyone, and welcome to my tutorial on how to get the PS3 controller working with Steam. Alright, so what you're going to need is a PS3 controller, charging cable, so you got mini USB to USB, any standard one will work, or the one that comes with your PS3, exactly the same thing. And you'll also need either pre-installed on your computer a Bluetooth module, or you can buy a separate Bluetooth module. Just make sure it works with Linux, and you should be good. I'd recommend getting Bluetooth 4.0 or later, as this has some advanced properties that you might want. But Bluetooth 2.1 or better should work. I'd recommend getting a Bluetooth 4.0 module. PS3 and PS4 controller both use Bluetooth 2.1, but obviously later versions of Bluetooth are compatible. So I actually have a built-in Bluetooth module in my computer rather than using a separate module. But they both work fine. I've tested them, and they both work fine. So what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and make sure our Bluetooth is working and on. So you're going to need to install Bluetooth modules if you don't already have that installed. And go ahead and turn it on, make sure Bluetooth is working. So on my computer, it's already working, so we're good there. Next step is to install a tool called qtsixa. In Arch Linux, we can go to the AUR, which is the Arch user repository, and here we can go ahead and grab it there manually and install it. Or you can use pacaur or yaourt. Just use the -s to install qtsixa, which I've already done. In Ubuntu, you can use PPA, Personal Package Archive, and you just run these few commands: sudo add-apt-repository ppa falk-t-j/qtsixa. I'll go ahead and put all of this down in the info area. And then you need to update your repository here with this command: sudo apt-get update, and then go ahead and install it. And obviously it has this repository here, so it knows where to look. I only have major experience with Arch Linux and Ubuntu. This is Arch Linux right now, but also works great with Ubuntu or any other distribution. So what I'd recommend for you guys, if we go here, we can see that here is that PPA I was just talking about, the falk-t-j. And so, I mean, you can just do a simple search, but it has the repository here. If you go to software.opensusi.org and search for the package qtsixa, there's packages for OpenSUSE and Fedora, but these are not in the official repositories, so I'm not sure how trustworthy they are or anything. Like I said, I'm not an OpenSUSE or I mean, I've never run these distributions, so I'm not exactly sure. I doubt it's by default in Yum, or you can use Yum to get it, because while qtsixa is open source, I don't know why it's not in the default repositories, but I do not think it is. But you can just look around and figure that out. Or, everyone can do this. qtsixa.sourceforge.net, click on the download here, and there's the source code. So if you want the source code and want to build it from source, you can do that. That would be that should work for any Linux distribution, including OpenSUSE and Fedora, and any other distribution you're running that runs on Linux, obviously. So now what we're going to do, we go ahead and so we confirm that our Bluetooth's working. So we're going to go ahead and plug this into our USB port, and obviously you'll see here we have our flashing lights, which is fine. We're going to go over here to our terminal or command line, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to go ahead and call up, now that we've installed the qtsixa package, sudo sixpair, because it does need sudo permissions. And so what this just did is we went ahead and connected that, and to start it, sudo 680-start. And so now it's asking us to push PS button. So I've never gotten this to work on the first try, so we're going to go ahead and push down the PS button for a few times. Like I said, it doesn't work on the first try. So we're going to go ahead and unplug, plug it right back in, and in this case, it works now. That was actually pretty quick. It usually takes 3 times for me, but in this case, it worked on the first try. So now we are connected through Bluetooth. and see that 1 is lighted up, and we can see here if you have DualShock 3 controller, it'll rumble. So it'll do that feature. I haven't encountered it being actually used, but it obviously did just rumble when it connected. So we can go ahead and unplug, and we are still connected. We are connected to Bluetooth now, and we are all set up for this side. So you can leave this plugged in if you need to charge it or whatever, otherwise get rid of it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get it out of our terminal. And actually when you install the qtsixa package, it'll bring up this. But I've never actually gotten this tool to work. I think it's horrible, but that's just me. If you can get it to work, great. Otherwise, use the terminal commands, which will work. And obviously, I'll show you here. So I went ahead and launched Steam, and we're going to go ahead and big picture mode. Sorry, my system's lagging just a little bit because of the screen recorder. You go ahead and go to Settings, Controller. So go ahead and click Edit Controls. Okay, primary action. Enter X, enter O, enter triangle, enter square, enter start, enter PS button, enter select. So this left stick click is going to be clicking the left stick down, then it'll say button 1. And the right stick click, you're going to literally push the button down. Left shoulder is going to be your L2 button. Whoops. And right shoulder is going to be your R2 button. D-pad up, it's obviously D-pad up. Keep going down here. Left stick X. Left stick Y. Right stick X. Right stick Y. And you can go up or down or to the side. Left trigger. And obviously you can reconfigure these anytime you like. So you just have to kind of keep in mind that this is set up for an Xbox 360. So A is X. X is square, I believe, Y is triangle, and B is O. So we're going to go ahead and save it. And so you can go ahead and call it whatever you want. I'm calling mine PS3 controller. And you can choose to upload it to Valve or not. I'm going to choose no thanks in this case because I've already done that. And you should be able to now use your PS3 controller. So right now I'm no longer using my mouse or keyboard, and everything is working fine. So we're going to go ahead and go into a game. Going for Left 4 Dead 2. Alright, it's finally loaded up. So we are going into Options, Keyboard and Mouse, and Gamepad will be disabled by default, so go ahead and enable it. We're going to go up to Edit Keys and Buttons. And this has actually been pretty annoying here, because you actually have to click each time you want. But the good thing is you get to use whatever buttons you want. So you hit Edit, and you do that, and like I said, it's configured for Xbox 360, so triangle is Y. And there was actually an update that came out a few weeks ago that actually fixed the right joystick wasn't working, so you could aim but you couldn't move, I believe, and it was super annoying. But they eventually fixed that with the beta update, so if it doesn't work for you, wait till an update comes out or opt into the beta update. So after you've configured all the ones you want to, for example, I've configured the ones I want to there, I'm going to hit done, and we're going to go ahead and play a single player game. Fine. Just take just a minute here to load up, and FPS rate will probably be horrible, and sound is actually going through my headphones, so you won't hear any sound on here. Alrighty guys, it's finished loading. I got sound coming through my headphones, and we're about to start the first round. And obviously I've set up my controller beforehand, and I showed you how to do that through the options. And there we go, using left stick, that's to move. I'm using my right stick to aim, and obviously the FPS rates are horrible. The FPS rates are horrible because I'm doing an entire screen capture, not just an OpenGL, but it works very well for what it's doing right now. So obviously when you do it So for the most part for the games, it's usually in options. You just go to keyboard and mouse and enable the gamepad, and you might have to configure a few buttons, or there might already be pre-set up for you. So I've had success with Portal, and I've had success with a few other games that support the controller, and they've all worked fine. So just remember to, if you're trying to use this for Left 4 Dead 2 and your right joystick isn't working, remember that update came out and it allows you to, you don't have to set it up or anything, but it's automatically gonna do those axes support for you because you set it up earlier in the controls. Alright guys, so we're back here at, we're gonna go ahead and go all the way back, and we're gonna go ahead and return to our desktop, and I'll go ahead and close out of Steam because we no longer need that. In this case I'm using KDE. I'd recommend using XFCE or any other desktop environment, or if you are using this, I'd recommend using the Alt-Shift F12, which will disable desktop effects. Alright guys, so now it is time to disconnect our controller. So we'll go ahead and open up a new terminal there. I'm going to go ahead and sudo sixad-stop, and what this is going to do is go ahead and unpair it there, and now this is no longer connected. So if you want to connect it to your PS3 again, the same process almost. You plug one in into your controller, one in into your PS3, start your PS3, it's now synced back up, because with your sixpair command up here, it has set the Bluetooth address it's looking for to your computer. So it is now set up to your computer. So you shouldn't have to sixpair as long as you have not reconnected to another host. So we're going to go ahead and test that out real quick. So it is not connected, and it was previously connected to my computer, no longer connected, can't use the controller. It's off. So we're going to go ahead and sudo sixad, because it's already six-paired. Because when we ran the six-pair, this controller is now looking for my computer when it turns on, because it's synced to my computer. That's why we connected it through here in the first place, and that's why when you move it back onto the PS3, you'll have to use this cable again to resync it. So it's basically running these commands in the background automatically. Its base system isn't running on Linux, but you get the idea. So it's still attached, or it's still going to look for my computer when we hit the PS button. So we're going to go ahead and start sixad, and this is the listener, and now it should run on the first try. And there we go. It rumbled, and it's connected, and it works. So, and then to disconnect it, you just simply do the same thing. Launch another one, sudo sixad-stop, put your sudo password, and there you go, it's done. Alright, well, this has been a video tutorial by qtsixa, aka CC11rocks. Please be sure to like, comment, and favorite this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys.